fifth speaker is Ohly. Correct? She is from University of Central Lancashire, and she is speaking on exploring the cultural acceptability and sustainability of biofortification in Pakistan.
Hi everyone, I'm Heather Ohly. I'm going to talk to you about our work in Pakistan on biofortification and particularly the acceptability and sustainability of biofortified flour. So this is our project known as BIZIFED. It's funded by the BBSRC and the Global Challenges Research Fund between 2017 and 2019, recently completed. The PI is Professor Nicola Lowe, who's also attending this event. And this work was really our foundation study with the GCRF. We've now got a larger GCRF grant to conduct our second project called BIZIFED 2. And if you'd like to know more about that, then please come along to the GCRF breakfast meeting tomorrow morning. So this work's focused on the first BIZIFED project. This is our team. It's a very interdisciplinary team, and we're very proud of our partnership working, which has been the key to success in this project. There were 4 objectives in the study, one of which was a RCT effectiveness study. Unfortunately, some of the results from that are being presented in the next room in the parallel session. So again, if you were wanting to know about that as well, then please come and find me. Or I'll be happy to send you the slides. I'm going to focus on the third objective, which was our implementation research, to explore the cultural context, traditions, knowledge, and attitudes of local stakeholders. And the premise behind this is that regardless of effectiveness, the impact of something like biofortified flour and wheat depends on uptake. So that's uptake by farmers who must choose to grow the crop, and uptake by community members who must choose to buy and consume this new flour instead of their usual flour. So this is the first study to explore these kinds of issues in Pakistan. There were 3 components to this work, and I'm going to skip over the first 2 and focus on the third. So the first was stakeholder mapping. And this infographic just gives a flavor of the wheat system in Pakistan, and you won't be able to read them, but the boxes on the right and the left in brown are some of the risks and opportunities associated with the introduction of biofortified flour into this existing system. So again, something we're keen to explore more in our second project. We also conducted a small survey with farmers. These were farmers who had grown the biofortified wheat crop, which is called zincol, during the first season and the first year of our project. It was a small survey and a convenient sample, but in summary, the farmers had a positive experience of growing the crop. They didn't encounter any major troubles, and they were pleased with the yield. So positive findings. So I'm going to focus on our community qualitative work, which I think is really interesting. We did semi-structured interviews with a subsample of 10 households that were randomly selected from our RCT participants. There were 50 households in the RCT. And we interviewed 5 men and 5 women. This will be an overview, but if you want to know more, this work's about to be published in the UN's Nutrition Journal in a July special issue. Just to put this into context and tell you a bit about the community where the study took place, it's on the outskirts of Peshawar in northwest Pakistan. It's a brick kiln community, so most of the men and some of the children work as manual labourers in the brick kilns. The level of literacy is exceptionally low, about 3% adult literacy rate, and the dietary diversity is also very low. They have very poor soil, they can only grow a limited range of crops, and wheat is the dietary staple, so wheat flour chapatis are an integral part of the diet consumed with every meal. So there were 4 main themes arising from these interviews. One was a preference for the flower that they received during the trial. Now, it's important to note that this was a randomized crossover trial, so each household received both the biofortified flour and a control flour, and they didn't know which one they were consuming at any given time. So it appears from these findings that they were referring to all of the flour that they received during the trial, which they preferred to their locally available market flour. And they preferred it in terms of taste, but also how it kneaded and the quality of the dough. Secondly, perceived health benefits. And again, an obvious limitation. We can't verify any of these effects, but it's nice that they had a positive experience of the flour during the trial. So the perceived benefits that they reported, including increased levels of energy and strength. The men said that they noticed that during their work. They had improved digestion, and some of the women also talked about how the condition of their skin and hair and nails was better. I'm hoping that you can read these quotes for yourself. I'm not going to read them out, but they're quite illustrative. Thirdly, and not surprisingly, the affordability of the flour was a concern. So during the trial, the families actually received free flour, and so of course they were keen to know what would be the price of this flour compared to our usual flour if it becomes available in the market. We weren't able to give a definitive answer on that. We know of no reason why it should be any more expensive. But in Pakistan, the price of wheat is set at a government level. So again, that's something that we need to investigate more in our current study. Finally, and this is really interesting, cultural one. There was a theme around suspicion and fear. So before the trial started, some of the families in the community were concerned about what's really in this flour, what's the real motive behind this research. And I think there's a lot of historical context that underpins this. Yeah, they were worried about birth control and family planning issues. So we found that through engagement with committees of village elders, we were able to allay these fears. A lot of these families did go on to participate and consume the flour during the trial, and as you can see from these quotes, they were pleased that they had, and they said that there was no fear in their hearts any longer. So we feel that this has been a really important factor in our study, this communication and community engagement, and we feel that's going to be an important strategy for scaling up biofortified flour in Pakistan. And every village of this nature has a committee of village elders known as Jirga. So in conclusion, this is a small foundation study, and more work is needed, but it does seem that biofortified flour could be popular with communities and consumers, but that would depend on, in particular, affordability and awareness. The limitations I've already touched on, but a key one there is that the participants receive free flour during the trial. So we need to expand that during this study and examine the community members who perhaps weren't participants. We've got lots of plans to do more with this in BIZIFED 2, and we'll be starting a formative study this summer. So that just remains for me to thank all of our partners in the UK and Pakistan, and obviously not all of them could be here, but thank you very much.